The Leap Foundation proudly presents the Meet the Mentor podcast with Dr. Bill Dorfman. Dr. Bill is a TV host, New York Times best-selling author, two-time Guinness World Book record holder, fitness guru, celebrity cosmetic dentist, and philanthropist who founded the Leap Foundation. Here's Dr. Bill.
Hey, Dr. Bill here. So get ready for another exciting Meet the Mentor. We're super duper excited about Leap 2023. You can sign up now. It's not too early. It will be July 16th to the 22nd at UCLA. I have no idea who the speakers will be, but this year we had Richard Branson, Prince Jackson, Michael Jackson's son, Paula Abdul, and every year we get amazing speakers and we deliver big time. So I'm super excited. I'm also talking with a group called Gen 4, and it looks like they're going to send a ton of students to the program. So I'm excited about working with them and just keep doing all what we're doing. The goal is to make it better every year. And I think so far in the last 15 years, we've kept improving it and just hitting it out of the park consistently. So I'm super excited. You go to our website, www.leapfoundation.com, and get more information for Leap 2023. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our Meet the Mentor. This is Dr. Gayle Randall. She brings nearly 40 years of direct experience as a physician, scientist, cross-cultural practitioner, administrator, and writer to her endeavors. Dr. Randall has merged the cutting-edge knowledge of internal, integrative, and functional gastroenterology medicine together to address wellness and chronic disease through new cellular messaging technology and biomimicry. Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Dr. Randall has always believed in creating health from the inside out. Her practice focuses on optimizing the functioning of the body, particularly the gut, in utilizing holistic methods based in science. Her proactive systems-oriented approach places patient and practitioner in therapeutic partnership. It focuses on the root cause of illness rather than the Western focus on symptoms. Dr. Randall loves to scientifically track the hidden causes of a disease, the environment, the genetic or lifestyles that interact with it. She transforms health, providing individual treatments with diet, exercise, and micronutrient therapy to optimize metabolism and gut balance. Dr. Randall believes every patient can achieve their highest expression of health, and she's here to tell you all about it. Good day to you, Dr. Randall. How are you?
Thank you. That's a very fancy way of saying, I like to get to the root cause, and it all comes from UCLA, where you're going to go back to, my alma mater, where people do think outside the box. That's where I had the first integrative educational for medical students at UCLA and therapies. First one at UCLA.
So I'm thinking you probably started practicing in a very conventional way and then transitioned into this new kind of holistic approach. When and how did that all happen?
I know everybody thinks that, but I was always an outside of the box person, but I did learn all the cutting edge, science stuff too, because I love that too. So I've always seen it as two sides that need to bridge together. So I don't think of it as one thing or the other. I've always thought of it as a one whole picture. But of course, I was presented with the traditional, what you think of as Western medicine stuff first, but I spent a lot of time with indigenous cultures. So it was ingrained in me, the holism and the holistic picture. So
talk to me about the evolution of your practice, like straight out of medical school. Give me kind of an idea as to your roadmap to success.
Yeah, well, they liked me very much at UCLA. One thing is work hard, never give up. I mean, I had to pay my own way through school. So I worked and I went to school. Also, either I worked during the day or I worked at night, and I went to school in the alternate space that was open because I had to pay for it myself. So But the thing is, if you really, focus on what that future is you want, what you think you can manifest. So don't just keep putting in the time. You'll get there before you know it. That 4 years before you get to go to medical school, it's over, and then you're in. So if you just keep plodding away and paying your bill and staying positive and staying focused on the future, it happens.
So what were you manifesting? And tell me what it looks like today.
What I was manifesting is a way to serve medicine, because I always thought medicine was the way for me. And I've always been a very compassionate, healing person to other people. And I wanted to express that with some clout, with some, degrees and stuff. So that was my goal, is to get those degrees and have that clout, so I might be able to bring in some new kinds of medicine, which is the alternative integrative piece.
So what is it that you do medically that's so different from quote unquote traditional practitioners?
I'm educated in like 20 different modalities, and I don't want the young guests to be like, oh my God, I can barely get through the one I have. I've had that happen before when I talk to medical students, but don't think of it that way. Just think of your life as a, it's full of different tools that you can call upon. Whatever you find it works best in your own hands, that's what you want in your practice. You want to get that little, immerse yourself in whatever that is. Maybe acupuncture, maybe massage, maybe something as simple as teaching your patient a meditation or how to breathe. That's so key now. And that's a very simple technique, but a very powerful technique. So if you want to be a doctor, if you know some of these very simple things to do, you're going to help your patients that much more. When we did studies at UCLA, we showed that every time we added something alternative, people did better, 100% of the time. So if you can get something 100% of the time, that's pretty phenomenal. So just be open to what else is out there. And of course, do your basics. If you're interested in medicine, you got to do your basics, and but be open to the other tools as well.
So a lot of your practices focuses particularly on gut health. Talk to us about that a little bit, please.
Sure. Well, I'm a gastroenterologist as well, and I've been a gut doctor by degree. I worked with Emran Meyer, who wrote the Mind Gut condition, and or the gut is it Mind Gut Connection? Yeah, Mind Gut Connection, or Gut Mind Connection. Anyway, he wrote the foreword to my book, Soul Doctoring, Heal Yourself, Heal the Planet, which just came out in April. You can find it on Amazon. He's an amazing guy, and we worked together there at UCLA from the very beginning, knowing there was something more than what you could see, and what Western medicine accepted as, the mind-gut connection, that there was something more than, out of sight, out of mind. I was more interested in the little bugs, like what's there, what's that shouldn't be there, what's not there that should be there. Now we know that we need these good bugs, and a lot of people focus on it and take probiotics, keep your gut balanced, that kind of thing. It's a thing, and most people in the population kind of know about that now. But when we were back then trying to decide at UCLA, people said it doesn't matter. They said everything's commensal. It doesn't matter what's in there. Of course, we know that's not true now. And of course, depending on what's in there, it sends a message to your brain. It actually shapes what you think. You may have what you think happen in your gut first, and then you decide what you think about it. So it's very important what's happening in that gut. It could be your first brain, So always think about that when you eat your food. It should be not too much sugar. It should be, designed to help those bugs that live in there. Whatever is good for the bugs is good for you.
So what does a typical Dr. Gayle day look like?
Oh, a typical Dr. Gayle day these days is, I have a podcast myself. It's called Soul Stories. So I do that once a week. I have patients I see both in the office and on telemedicine, because ever since COVID, we had to think outside the box. How are we going to take care of our patients now? Either we're going to become hospitalists, which is cool too, or we're going to have to, do it in a way that we're not spreading disease. So we started doing telemedicine big time, meaning like we're doing now, like on a Zoom or, so we can still help people a great deal because you can still see a lot and get a lot through what they tell you. The patient's story is everything. I say the patient comes with their own answer. And if you're patient enough and you have enough knowledge, you listen to what they say, and they're going to tell you what's wrong in that time period you spend with them. And then you just have to fill in the in between the words and come up with a program for them.
Tell me what your podcast is about. What do you do on the podcast?
Yeah, my podcast is not dissimilar in a way to you. You have different mentors on because you want to inspire people. And I think that's cool. I have different people who have achieved a higher level of consciousness, at least in my opinion. And so that people listening, it will raise their consciousness by listening to the podcast. They're very, very accomplished. They're either very, very accomplished in a certain area, or they're very spiritual, or that, like I had Emran Meyer on, who's very accomplished in but he's spiritual too. And I had have a lot of actors and actresses, and also people just that are so unusual you wouldn't even think. I have this guy from Saltworks. He's like a salt genius. I mean, it's so fascinating, the ins and outs of salt and how, what it does in your body and where he goes and gets it and where the purest salt is. I mean, things like that, so it's very unusual, high vibrational kind of information that inspires people.
Interesting. So what are the most common, I would say, diseases or medical problems that you deal with in your practice?
Well, of course, gut, because I'm a gastroenterologist. People come in and, they may come in. This is interesting. They may come in and say, "Doc, I have headache." And then they go out with a gut program. They're going, "What is this?" I come in and I say I have a headache, and I go out with something for my gut, because so many things come from the gut. You really have to know what you're looking at. And I'm also trained in Chinese medicine. So I take a look at that tongue, and that tongue tells me if they have an imbalance. And if it goes along with their symptoms, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, then you're on the money. And I will test their poop and see who's home, who's there, or who's not there, and
Interesting.
And from that, you can create a program for that person, because it'll also tell you the level of inflammation.
Right.
You should do this, actually. Almost everybody should do this, just like everybody needs a colonoscopy. I think everybody should get their poop test, as a regular, we go in and get our CBC, our complete blood count. And that, I think it should include this GI mapping, basically.
I actually did it. I had a bout with Girardi. And so I did
Girardi.
Yeah.
Giardia.
Yeah, Giardia. I had a bout with that a few years ago, and we did extensive testing.
Oh, we'll talk about that later. But that can shift you forever if you don't recheck it and do certain things to rebalance yourself. Because your gut is your immunity, isn't it?
It is.
When you're born, all of your immunity is in your thymus, and it's your T cells. When we're toddlers, move out and move into the gut and set up all these little colonies called Peyer's patches. And that's where your immunity resides. Your gut's your immunity, but it's also creates more neurotransmitters than your brain. So it determines how you feel. So it's your immunity. It's how you feel. The gut is way more important than people think. It's not just for digesting or holding food.
Well, I'm glad that you have established a stronghold in this, because I definitely need to see you on a professional level. To be totally honest with you, ever since I had this incident, I got it in Lake Arrowhead. I was an avid water skier, and I wiped out once and happened to swallow half the lake. And my gut has never been the same since.
No, a lot of people say that once a parasite moves in, it's not the same, but it can be. Bill.
Yeah,
It can be the same. No, it can be, because I got Giardia too. I got it in France. Who knew? I thought they like drinking wine. No, they have to, because they can't drink the water.
That's funny.
Yeah. But anyway, so it changes your gut immunity. Another way of looking at it, a lot of docs will say, well, something rode in on its back. Well, perhaps, but the best way to do is check. But this DNA GI mapping test that we do will tell you your entire microbiome. And,
wow.
Plus, are you inflamed? Are you not inflamed? Can you, how much digestive capability do you have, and all of this? So it's a really good informational test to do for anybody with, and like I said, I think it's going to become like part of your standard test that you get when you go to the doctor, because it's good to know where you start from.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter. So, medicine has certainly changed a lot since you and I graduated from medical school and dental schools. Today you're running multiple businesses. I mean, you've got your medical practice, you've got a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What else are you doing that generates business for you?
Well, I created a line of supplements. So I do that, but I don't think everybody needs to do all that. Although that's since entrepreneurism is a bigger deal now, it's worth checking into for our young listeners, because if you do have more than one area that you're drawing income from, you're going to be easier to succeed. But first, like I said, do your basics. If you want to go into medicine, do medicine. And then you can add in the other things that serve you, that interest you, that get you excited. But you don't have to. You can be a doctor. And the doctor does a lot of things, wears a lot of hats. A doctor is sort of a therapist. A doctor is sort of, the captain of the ship. He will send you off to other doctors that know what to do with you. So there's certainly no shame in that.
Agreed. So I told you I was going to ask you this. If I were a student watching you right now, Dr. Gayle, and I wanted to have a career in medicine, and even maybe specifically in gut health and things like that, what should I be doing as far as school's concerned if I'm in high school or college? Mm-hmm. What kind of classes could I take, or what other kinds of extracurricular things should I get involved in?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can tell you that, because not only did I do it, but I also was on the acceptance committee, at UCLA. I was a professor there for 15 years. So I accepted medical students, and then I had students, that followed me around. And then in the higher levels, I accepted, fellows into the specialty program, things like that. So I know what to do and what to look for. So if you want to be a doctor and you want to get into medical school, you want to kind of maybe go to the university, meet someone who wants help in their lab, and then learn directly from that person. And it looks good on your resume. It does good for your knowledge, and you might even find something you're interested in. So that's one way of doing it.
Yeah, we're really big on, kind of advising students to find great mentors and really spend time with them. I mean, there's really no way to know how you're going to like the field that you've mm-hmm. never spent any time in. So
the other thing is go find a clinician such as myself. Say you're interested in integrative medicine. I have patients come find me all the time. I just had one from Arabia. I said, can I please follow you around? Or two. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Come on in. And I show them what I do and how I do it, and they're just fascinated with it. So they want to know the other ways to heal as well as traditional medicine.
Cool.
So,
if students want to follow you or get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Yeah, just go on my website, drgm or drgmrandall.com, and call me, and I'll say yes.
So it's Dr. G like Gary, M like Mary, Randall, RANDALL.com.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And I always like to end on this one. What's next?
What's next? Well, what's next is to get my book out there, start lecturing on the teachings in the book, and write the next one.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to do one sort of like it's going to be all about nutrition. Not that that's already in my current book, Soul Doctoring, Heal Yourself, Heal the Planet, on Amazon, but it's a more focused, and it's going to have recipes with a story behind each recipe. Where did it come from? Why is it important for what health conditions, and so forth?
Awesome. Well, mark your calendar for July 21st in 2023. And if you're available, I'd love to have you come to LEAP as a mentor. We'll have about 100 different professionals there, and students get to sit and talk to you for 30 minutes when we rotate. It's like speed dating. So
let's do it.
Yeah, if that date works out, I'll have James contact you. Write down July 21st, 2023. All right.
That's exciting. I'd love to talk too. I'd love to come.
Okay. Well, I'm going to come in as a patient, so you're going to see me next week. Okay.
All right. Okay. I look
All right. Thank you, Dr. Gayle. Dr. Bill, over and out.
To learn more about the LEAP Foundation, go to leapfoundation.com or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/LEAP Foundation or on Instagram at LEAP Foundation. Listen to the Meet the Mentor podcast with Dr. Bill Dorfman on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.